Greetings from District 3310, covering Singapore, Brunei, and part of Malaysia. Thank you, first of all, for the kind invitation extended to me to be present in the district conference of District 3870 in the Philippines. And my greetings to all the district leadership, and as well as to convener and the district governor, John Mark Saraga. Today, I'm going to speak about the importance of increasing the impact of our service projects and how it can actually enhance the Rotary's public image. This is the planet that we all are living in at present. And while we know that we can imagine we want to have a perfect world and for everybody actually lives a good life, but the reality is far from perfect. In fact, if you see the pictures on my slides, you are able to see how fortunate we are with the kind of life that we are having and the life that we are enjoying at the moment. I must say that we are the fortunate ones. Although we know that we cannot help everyone, but everyone can surely help someone. And that is what the past president of the United States, Ronald Reagan, said in the past. So what can we do as fellow Rotarians? I want to recollect the vision statement that Rotary has actually crafted for all the Rotarians. And this vision statement says that today, together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe in our communities and in ourselves. And the word lasting change means creating positive impact in the long run for the benefit of the community. We all know that impactful projects create positive long-term change in the lives of the beneficiaries. Why? Because the benefits will continue even after the project funding has been fully utilized. Rotarians as people of action, today we must be consistent in showing to members of the public that we are actually people of action. And we are in fact able to influence those that we know and those that see our interaction and communications, either in cyberspace or in person. And this is very important because as an influencer, we are actually having significant influence on the audiences that are interacting with us. And this is the definition of being an influencer. And who are the audiences? Our audiences are basically members, potential members, donors, volunteers, whom we can actually tap on the expertise of people who can help us in the projects that we do. And as well as potential organizations where we can forge partnership to work together with them for the benefit of the community. Now, we have the power to influence and inspire people because we have the credibility. We uphold ethical standards in our vocation and we embrace the core values of Rotary, which show in all our actions. We are leaders that can take action to create lasting change. The word lasting change is in fact very, very important. Now, how can we become an effective influencer? Obviously, we need to have stories to be able to tell our audiences, and these stories must have a call to action, and as well as use captivating images to accompany our stories. And these stories and the captivating images can only be taken from impactful projects that we do in the community. In the process, with these images, we must be consistent with our messages and our stories. The logo that we use, the people of action perception that we want to create to members of the public. And as well as not forgetting the diversity, equity, and inclusion policies that we make in Rotary. Be consistent in the logo that represent our brand so that our audiences will not be confused, as well as embracing the core values of Rotary, which is the very fundamental and significant foundation that makes us a wholesome Rotarian and a good brand ambassador. But in order for us to be able to inherit the core values of Rotary effectively, we need to be an active Rotarian. That is very important. So, what do Rotarians have to do to ensure that projects are of high impact? Number one, we need to do community needs assessment Today, community needs assessment are only a prerequisites and a condition in applying for global grant. But I'm suggesting that clubs should do community needs assessment irrespective of the funding that you are actually getting. And number two, funding from the Rotary Foundation will help us to do bigger projects. And bigger projects mean we have meaningful and effective projects. As I mentioned earlier on, community needs assessment provides the baseline for us to understand the kind of risk and benefit assessment and be able to measure the impact resulting from the project. Big projects require big fundings, and the global grant will give us that opportunity to do bigger projects that can give us big impact. And big impactful projects are actually good because it provided us good subject for telling a very good story. So with impactful project, which requires bigger funds from the Rotary Foundation, we can actually have good project that will provide us good story. So to increase our impact, Rotarians should be thinking about the long-term change resulting from our actions, right from the start. So if we can start thinking the long-term change resulting from our action, we should be able to make sure that all projects that we do are very impactful. Without impactful projects, there is no story to tell, because impactful projects are something that is very unique, that we can shout to the community and how it can create such a change in the community for the better of their lives. Remember, impactful projects have good and meaningful stories, as well as good stories have higher chances of attracting our audiences. Because if you don't have good stories, the audience are not going to visit your social media pages. They are not going to listen to you. So good stories have higher chances of attracting our audiences. Remember, in the social media space, you are competing, or we are competing with many other organizations to grab attention of the audiences. By having good stories, donors may be compelled to contribute funding for good projects. And therefore, good stories can also attract like-minded audiences to join the organizations like Rotary. And good stories can attract professionals and experts to contribute their vocational expertise that you may need in implementing a project. Good stories will strengthen our image, credibility, and trust. John Johns, the author of Duct Tape Marketing, says that branding is the art of becoming knowable and as well as trustable. This is very important because with the kind of branding and the kind of perception and image that we are building, this is something that we can capitalize on. And Rotary has got the attributes for a very strong brand. And according to Seth, an author and American Marketing Association in the Marketing Hall of Fame in 2018, says that marketing is no longer about the stuff that you make, but about the stories that you tell. So powerful stories can make a difference. Mark Zuckerberg, CEO and co-founder of Facebook, says that nothing influences people more than a recommendation from a trusted friend. So referral is very important. And that's the reason why today RI President Sheikh Mehta has encouraged Rotarians and Rotary clubs to do collaboration with other organizations, whereby you provide them with the opportunities to have a taste what it is like to be involved in Rotary projects and mixing around with Rotarians. Because if they are delighted with what they are experiencing, they will be able to recommend their friend. And their friend, being able to hear this from a trusted friend, will more likely be convinced with what they say about Rotary. Therefore, while we talk about brand and logo is just the cosmetic. Although it is very important, but a brand is not just depending on a logo or a website or the business card. It depends on the kind of experience that people will remember. It is no good to provide a bad experience, but with a brand compliant logo. You need both. But the experience is the one that is going to stay in the minds of people who have the opportunity to work with you and mix around with Rotarians, because that memorable experience will be etched in their minds for many, many years to come. In closing, I would like to quote this. You don't imagine yesterday, you imagine tomorrow. You imagine the impact you created in the community. Imagine the lasting change you give to the community. Imagine how the beneficiaries will remember you and the good stories about Rotary they will tell their friends. We all have dreams, but acting on them is a choice. I wish you all the best as you close this current Rotary year and prepare for the next Rotary year. Imagine Rotary. Thank you for the kind invitation extended to me. See you again.